What is up, everybody? We are back. Or should I do one of these? We are back. Episode 158. What's up, Joey Yates?
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good, brother. Looks like you're broadcasting from the YT Mill, eh?
They locked me in here again. Yep.
Nice. And
Look at
what's
that bike.
behind you? Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. New bike day, Joey Yates.
That's the
Now,
new bike right there.
that is it, right? That's the one you picked up on Saturday, right?
That's the one. That's it. The Core 5 Jesse thing is a monster.
That is the one for the folks that are tuning in from the internet and iTunes and Spotify. Well, it's right behind Joey Yates is his brand new YT Jeff C Core 5. That is also the one that you rode the white line on, as well as like cleaned every single line on Highline.
Yeah, I just sat on the bike and it did all the work. It's that good. It's that good of a bike.
That's that good of a bike. Holy cow, that is a great bike. That is a great bike. Oh, that is good. Congratulations, bro. I know you've been wanting that bike for a long time. And we named the bikes around here. So you gave that name.
Oh, that bike is named Vortex.
Vortex. That makes sense. Sedona.
Yeah.
Sedona, the
became
Vortex.
alive in Sedona, yes.
It did. Yes, dude, it really did. You did some magic out there, which was awesome. And for the folks that are tuning in, we have a special guest on the show tonight. He's always been a co-host or a co-guest, but he is the main entree tonight. It is the meatball himself. It is Tony DaSilva. And I cannot wait to be able to jump into Tony's story and share it with you all. He's doing some great things. You all know him as The Outsider. He has a full-time YouTube channel. He said, like this to mainstream work, no 9-to-5s, and he's out there doing it. And I think we can talk about a car sponsor. He got a big car sponsor for the channel. Dude is doing epic things, so I cannot wait. But before we do, Joey, as always, we have a Whole Shot Award. Check this out. The beautiful folks at Mother Earth Brew Company gave us some coasters to give away. So tonight, Whole Shot winner.
I think you're gonna have to step it up a little more than coasters tonight, Mark.
I don't know. I mean, I can't do a car yet, but we're getting closer.
Maybe like a champagne brunch or something. Not a car, but
a champagne brunch with Tony?
No, with Mark Hill.
Oh, with me. Oh, well.
Yeah. Tony could be the waiter.
It would have to be a friends thing because I am off the market. But yes, we will definitely have to step it up. But tonight we have coasters for you all. That's for sure.
All right,
Joe, who is tonight's Whole Shot winner? Shall we say?
I tried to set it up for you, but you wouldn't follow me.
Oh no. Oh, I could have totally done it.
Yeah, you're off the market though, so coasters it is.
Coasters it is. Okay. Duly noted. Joey, my wingman. MTV Sheen Queen, we'll be sending you out coasters. Maybe I'll be delivering it in person. Coasters for you. Congratulations. Oh man, Joey.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah. Good job, Joey. Trying to do
trust
that
your
for
wingman next time. Trust your wingman.
Definitely trusting the wingman. Let's say what's up to some folks that are out there as well. We got Arkansas mountain biking in the house. Scott Ripple, he says, what's up, friends? What's up, Scott? Good to see you. Hey, man, we will be out there in October. Outer Bike. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, Outer Bike. I think it's the 18th, 19th, 20th, or 17th, 18th, 19th. One of that weekend. Outer Bike in Bentonville. Yeah, aim for it, target it, and let's go. Joe, you're jumping on that plane with me. I swear.
Oh, yeah, it's my wife's birthday, so I know exactly where I'm taking her.
Okay, good. Take her to the hub. And she's been riding bikes a lot lately.
She's been riding lately, so yeah, we'll keep it up. We'll see what happens.
Definitely. So that's going to be great. We got, let me go up to the top here. Kaz Ozeki. What's up, Kaz? Good to see you, brother. Always love seeing you in here. Arizona's in the house. Trail Monster. He says, hi there. Don't forget, Trail Monster has a podcast as well. Mountain Bike Q&A. What's up, Johnny? You says, I need the Whole Shot Award. Lauren's been away for a while, and I need goodness. Yeah, well, we definitely have enough to Send it. Bend that brim. I think he's
Never.
talking to you, Joey.
Never, yeah, never. I'm gonna get this thing flatter.
You're gonna get it really flat. Versus Tires in the house with Joey Yates. Ken to Tires over here with Mark Hill. I love it. Trail Pimp's in the house. What's up? Coming out of the Reno Lake Tahoe area says the Jeffsy is Cam Zink's favorite bike. I did not know that. Did you know that?
I did not know that. No. So is Cam Zink
know.
riding it, or is the Jeffsy just doing all the work for him too?
Man, if you ride like Cam Zink, I'll take a Jeffsy. I'll take the Jeffsy.
Cam's definitely
That's
riding the
for
bike.
sure. That is for sure. We got this one's coming in. This one's coming in from Phil on Facebook. Phil and Julie says, "What's up, Mark? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. One of my childhood buddies back home in a little town that I grew up in Ridgecrest. Shout out to Ridgecrest out there. Mountain Bike Q&A is laughing at us. And Robert McKay, Tony to nothing but escape punk, rockin' MTB. I know, right? Yes, I cannot wait to get in the story. Oh, it looks like I can donate the coasters. MTB Sheen Queen is saying, she's saying Outerbike Bentonville, October 18th through the 20th. Thank you for the correction on that. Yes, 18th through the 20th. And I think on here she's saying, oh yeah, here we go. I can give these to Johnny. Says you can have the coasters. I guess we should do the dinner thing. That'll probably be better.
It was just a brunch, Mark. Don't get excited.
Oh yeah. It was the brunch. You had me at the champagne part though. Okay. If I was lighter, I'd be blushing. This would be all red. We are going to be jumping into the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Mr. Tony DaSilva himself, the outsider. Tony!
Hey, thanks for having me. Here we are.
Dude, it's good to see you. You already have somebody in here who knows a bit of your background. Check it out. Robert McKay. Yep. Tony said nothing but escape punk. Rocket MTB.
True to heart. That's me.
Yeah.
True.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that, Tony. I mean, you know, as mountain bikers, we definitely are always looking around and seeing the landscape in a certain way. Like, that's something I could ride. I could huck that. That's a gap. That's a table. And I'm really like honing in on the gaps and tables now. I was thinking that some gaps were tables, and boy, was I wrong on that. But as a skateboarder looking at landscape, you see stairs, you see ledges, and you see the same thing in mountain biking. For the people who don't know, like, you started reading landscape differently as a kid. At what age were you skateboarding?
Really starting to get into it was probably 12 to 13. And you kind of said something that kind of hits home. Like, once you're a skateboarder, you grew up with that for a few years, it never really leaves you. The way you see the landscape, the way you see cities and towns, everything's a skate spot. So no matter how old I am, I'll be 80 if I make it that long. And see stairs and ledges and handrails, I'll always picture that as a skate spot. And I feel like that's new to this generation. You know, like my parents and parents before that never looked at architecture and things like that in that way. But that's something that a lot of us in this, you know, in this new generation or newer, we're the first ones that'll ever be doing that until we die, you know? So it's like an appreciation for the landscapes that we never really had before in society, like the way it is now. Like it means fun. It means like challenge. It means all those things that you grew up with as a skateboarder. Even if I can't or don't do them now, the possibility and the like-mindedness and the way you think about that is always going to stick with me, you know?
It's so cool. It's a very cool skill to have. I mean, I'll be driving somewhere through a city and you'll see a rail or a step, or you'll see a series of steps, and you're like, you can gap that middle one if you had just enough speed, and there's just enough at the top to get that speed. It's funny how your brain thinks like that. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is for me, like growing up in Connecticut on the East Coast and being a fan of skateboarding and watching the pros and watching all the skate videos that you do when you grow up, most of that was coming from here. Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco. So coming out here, like I live in Fullerton, and there's a parking garage a block away that I grew up watching people do tricks on and manual tricks and lines. And I just rode my bike through it like the other night. And I was like, 12-year-old kid freaking out because I'm like, no one cares about this parking garage except for someone like me who grew up watching Ronnie Krieger and all these people do these amazing skateboard influenced, like changing tricks for the first time ever done in these places that I live in now, you know. Kind of makes me feel like I wish I moved here when I was a teenager. So
Yeah.
I could live through it too, you know.
Right?
Mark, we were doing that when we went to the Petco, when we went to see the Padres play. We were looking around the stadium like, oh, we could ride that. Oh, we could
yeah.
send this. The whole time we were there, we're like,
The whole
man,
time. Yeah.
they
Reading
should let us
lines.
in there for a mountain bike day.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, now we do it. Now we do it in mountain biking, right? We see trails, and like I'll go for a hike with my wife, and I'm like looking at it a certain way, and she gets sick of me talking about mountain biking. So I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it is. And then when you see somebody who picks good lines too, you automatically get that respect. Like I was in Michigan not too long ago. I was following MTB Sheen Queen down some trails, and then even in Bentonville, following her lines down trails for trails that are blind to me, and they were blind to her. Cruising down and just watching the line choice, you're like, oh hell yeah, that's like great line choice. You know, like there's something in the mind that's just picking these things up.
Yeah,
and, yeah,
I love that. You know, I've said it before on my channel. I've said, I don't know if I said it to you guys, but like the great thing about mountain biking, and the one thing that I really love, is that it forces you to focus only on that thing. I'm not good at meditation, but mountain biking forces you to pay attention. Otherwise you're going to get hurt. Right. So it's like this way of focusing in a chess match down the trail. You have to plan out your lines. You have to like see things ahead of the time. So it really forces you to forget about all that shit, all that. Are we allowed to swear?
Totally. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the internet, baby.
Your life, and you have to focus on it for this brief period of time. You have no choice. So I fell in love with it because of that. And that's what skateboarding used to do for me. Like that was all that mattered in that little bubble, and mountain biking created this little mental bubble for me that really just, you know, I transitioned to that when I got older, and it was a good thing to find.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to find. Well said about that. It definitely is a form of meditation. You are forced to use your brain energy, your brain juice, to have fun and be stoked down the mountain. And it's a playful thing too, because we could play it cool. We're still in the zone, and we can get on it and squeeze a little bit more juice out of it and be playful and get kind of aggro, and you're definitely still in it, which is amazing, until you're not. And then you're like, what happened?
Yeah, things don't always stay that way. Yeah.
Right. What happened? What happened?
Such is life, right? Ups and downs.
Ups and downs. Exactly. Now, for the folks who don't know, we're talking a little bit about skateboarding there. And these guys are definitely part of the skateboard crew back in the day, the Arkansas crew, Arkansas mountain biking. You were not just a skateboarder, but this was your career. You were actually professional.
Yeah, I got paid to do it for a brief period of my life. I moved out to, long story short, I grew up in a skate park. I was sponsored in my teenage years. And then when I got older, I was thrown into two vans that came to pick me up in Connecticut, Toy Machine, Foundation, and Zero in the late 90s. That was when Bam didn't have a show. Bam Margera was in the van, Mike Maldonado, all these people, that Jamie Thomas, all these people that were starting to come up, but they hadn't plateaued yet. And I was jumping in on their journey. I was just a skate fan at the time, jumped in the vans, and we went all across Connecticut. Not a Connecticut, small, Canada, in and out, weaving in and out of the United States through Canada, all the way to Vancouver, and then back down to California. And then back by the end of that trip, I had made friends with a bunch of people in the van, and they invited me to move to Huntington Beach in their new house. So I flew back to Connecticut, packed up all my stuff, moved out to Huntington Beach into the condominium. It became kind of a famous skate house. If you ever heard of the Piss Drunks and Warner Ave crew, like that was that. I wasn't a Piss Drunk, but yeah, it was a party. It was a party palace, and like I lived out there for a few years. From there, I went to Tampa Am, which is a big contest in Florida. Tampa, they're still doing it now. Nike sponsors it. It's a yearly thing. Tampa Am, Tampa Pro. I
was
got
that
hurt.
Part of Castle back in the day, Tone?
Who
was that part of Castle? The organization Castle?
No, that's something separate. But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
This was something completely on their own that Tampa did. And now it's become like a part of Street League.
Oh, damn! Nike's in on that.
It's like a qualifying contest now. But it was also big back then. It was like that was the big contest every year was like Tampa. So I made it to the finals and did something stupid. I put new shoes on and went into practice and then tried a backlip down the rail. My foot slipped off the board and I tore all the ligaments. I landed all my force on my feet. And I heard like,
front foot or both feet?
Front foot. Front foot went down first, and then I just like all my weight leaned into it, so it just kind of did its thing, and immediately like blew up like a watermelon. I've never had an injury like that, so I knew I was like nervous because I was like, one, I didn't ever feel something like that. It was like numb, but like I knew something was wrong. Two, I saw like my career in skateboarding flash before my eyes because I was at like a big contest. I had a video part coming out I needed to film for, and I knew whatever happened to me was going to be a long time recovery. It wasn't like a sprained ankle that took a couple of weeks. This one was like something different, so got a cast, flew back to California. That's where I lived at the time. And I realized pretty quickly after about 6 to 8 months went by, I started skating again, but my ankle was still weak. Like I hadn't really walked on it in so long. I didn't do like physical therapy. This was like before skateboarding got the money it has now. Like my sponsor was like, "Oh, you're on your own, Tony." They didn't give me insurance. They didn't help me. I was just on my own. I'm not complaining because that's the way it was back then. You had to do your thing. But like I didn't know anything about that, like physical therapy or what I needed to do. So I was just winging it. And I started skating again. My confidence was low, because this is something that transpires through all sports. Like, in mountain biking, when you take a crash, your confidence is low, right? Like, so it's coming off of that injury after 6 to 8 months, my confidence was low. And then on top of it, my ankle felt like not confident at all. It wasn't strong. I would ollie downstairs and it was just didn't feel the same. So I got very frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And then after I stuck it out like 8 months to a year. I missed filming for a new video part, and I was like,
"Oh, that's money in the pocket."
Yeah, it's money in the pocket, and that's my career. So, for anyone that doesn't know, if you're on a team and you miss your video part for the company that you're on, you're kind of being left behind. Like you have to keep on, keeping on. Otherwise, the company's just going to put their money elsewhere. It's like really strict with the way they work. Like. Same thing with pro athletes or NBA. Like if you're hurt on the bench, somebody's going to take your place. Like there's somebody else always nipping at your heels. So that's what ended up happening. And I saw the writing on the wall. We moved to LA. It was expensive. I was running out of money, and I was like, I had to make a life choice. And I always knew I'd go back to school. I didn't really know how I'd do it. So I just bought a one-way ticket back to Connecticut, and I was like, let's just like accept the situation and like figure out my life from here. Long story short, it wasn't that simple. I didn't move back to Connecticut and go to college and get a career because I had to acclimate to normal society. Like I never had a real job. I was a skateboarder. We drank a lot. We partied a lot. We didn't have to fit into society. As corny as that sounds. You didn't have to like conform. So like getting a job and weird stuff, like getting up for work and being someplace at a certain time, as stupid as this sounds, it was new to me, like I didn't have the structure at all. So it took me a few years to like get jobs, figure out myself. I ended up getting a job at like a skate snowboard shop and figuring out my life a little bit and going back to school at the same time. And then slowly I started to like get better at like society. I don't know if that makes sense, but like get more like in tune with like a real world.
Assimilating to normalcy.
But like, the thing was like, I never wanted to lose who I was, but I just realized that like the way I was also not that normal. Like that's not a normal way of life. So I compromised. Like I never lost who I was, but I always I tried to just mature a little bit in the meantime, and ended up getting a journalism degree. God, I'm taking a long time to tell this story, but
that's okay. We got time.
So I got a journalism degree, and then got a job at MTV in New York, helping out with remember Rock Band, the video game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I worked there for like 8 months, internship to a little bit of a job, and worked for an outdoors company in Connecticut, and then I really didn't like being in Connecticut. The winters are just pretty awful. Like for an athletic person, for like me that wants to be on the move, like winters are like 8 months of the dark, cold, icy crap, on the East Coast. Unless you're snowboarding, you're just kind of stuck in this darkness. And I just got sick of it after living in California. I was like, it could be like that. So I started making moves to try to change my life. I reached out to people in California through my skate contacts, and I was like, hey, like, I have a journalism degree. I come from skateboarding. I've been doing marketing for a while. Social media is new. I'm going to move out to California. What do you have for me? And I just kind of like threw it out there to a couple people and moved out here with like just drove across country with my car.
Wow.
And at the time, and this was like 2012, and just figured it out. Like, didn't have money, waited it out. 6 to 8 months later, I got a job at this skateboard company called Soul Technologies that owned America and Etnies. Yeah, that's where I ended up working. So I was at America first. I did social media, then became the brand manager after a few years of marketing there, and being in charge of the pro skaters, which is totally freaking weird. And then
ride together. Now I'm in charge of you.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then I moved over to Etnies to do their social media. Long story short, COVID hit. They started freaking out, started laying people off. And then I was a contractor at the time, making good money, but like still a contractor. So they started laying off. Any layoffs, the contractors go first. So they laid me off. That led into, I was already kind of doing the mountain bike channel on the side. So I was like, I'm not going to look for a job right now during COVID. You're not going to find shit. There's nothing out there. Everyone's laying people off. So I was like, let's lean into this mountain bike channel and see if you can make it work. Take your skill set that you know from marketing and just throw yourself, be vulnerable, be who you are, and talk about your mountain bike experience and grow as the channel and grow as a rider and just bring everyone along with me. And I'm lucky enough to still be doing it. To be honest with you, I'm thankful for over the last few years for the support and the following that people have in the channel. And it just blows my mind all the time, like with how far the channel has come from those early days of me not knowing what the hell I was doing.
Dude, that's a freaking awesome story. And the timing behind that is incredible. Like, not knowing that when COVID hit, that was a big wave that was just starting, and you were like paddling, scratching it there at the bottom, and it was about ready to take off. Right and Dirty says, that's so dope, Tony. You said book it and make it happen.
Sometimes you got to do that in life, right?
Yeah, you do. You do. Tony, let me pause you here real quick in the story because we have some folks that are chiming in. And I do want to make sure that we get it. Joey's got this one teed up. It says, Teddy Parker says, wait, is this Teddy Parker, the singer? What's up, dude? I love your stuff. But you should complain, Tony, because action sports industry has always been fickle with that. If you can even get health insurance with that as occupation, they're going to drill you on repeat visits and such. Mm-hmm. Also goes on to say, always hated the industry for that, particularly in BMX with our smaller contracts. Dang.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, companies weren't making a lot of money, so I'm going to give them some the benefit of the doubt and say like they couldn't afford to do that back then, but now they can. And I feel like a lot of newcomers that are amateurs and turning pro for smaller companies that are making money still are living that lifestyle, unless you're on like a big company that can like take you under their wing. Like it's still go for broke, and you get hurt, it's on you. It's kind of sad, It's not like the NBA where they have like the amateur teams and they pull them, or like baseball from the B level teams. Like those guys are like at least have insurance and stuff. Like not having insurance and putting yourself in the line for every day to jump down 20 stairs and do like to prove your worth. Like, dude, it's scary. Like
scary.
Any day could take you out forever.
Right. Is it on repeat? I mean, you're attempting that thing like 15, 20 times. You never know what the dice is going to roll.
Any one of those times can go wrong and then end your career. It sucks.
Yeah. And you're just hoping that the cameraman caught it. You're hoping that you were brave enough to stick it, like really stomp that landing and ride away clean. Otherwise, go back up, do it again, try to get that part.
Although I will say that these days with the stuff they're doing on like repeat, it's video game stuff. It's crazy. I never thought it would get to the point where it is now, where they're doing stuff that was like take 6 months back then to do. They're doing it every single time, It's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so insane. No, so insane. We have Trail Pimp asking you, did you chase the magic dragon? I think he's trying to say. Did you chase the magic dragon, Tony?
What's that?
I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I actually don't know what he's
Let's
saying.
elaborate.
Trail Pimp, let us know exactly what that means. He's also saying Californication. Yeah, you got a taste of it, and dreaming of it, and made your way back. Now, at what point in this whole thing, from skateboarding to mountain biking, where did that pick up, and how did that pick up? I mean, I know in my mind how it feels, the similarities when I jumped on a mountain bike, but mine just came later in life. How did you get on the bike for you?
So as I got older, even when I worked at Soltech at the American Etnies, I found a hobby in mountain biking. I just loved where, I still say this, I loved where the bike took me. It brought me to places in California that like the skateboard wouldn't take me, or maybe I wouldn't take me. I started looking up trails and was slowly acclimating in. Like I didn't know at first if mountain biking was going to be my thing, but I just started leaning into it a little bit more because I liked exactly that. I liked where the bike took me to places I'd never heard of, and like beautiful places at that. Laguna Beach, Orange County, California stuff like San Diego Oaks, and up to Idlewild and things like this that like I started like exploring, and everything felt so new and fun and like rejuvenating. That's the
rejuvenating.
Word. Yeah, like it filled me up again, like where skateboarding wasn't doing that anymore. And I just got the adrenaline rush off learning it, like going down trails. You know, like I didn't really know that mountain biking had skills that you could progress on until I started doing it and realized that you had to learn things. Just like in skateboarding, you learn how to ollie, you had to learn how to take your turns, you had to learn your weight distribution, you had to learn how to put your body in certain situations, and it doesn't come natural at first, but then it does. So I really liked the more time I put in the bike, the faster I would go and the more fun it became. So I got kind of addicted during that to that. And through like my job and working over the years, I just started like getting more people at work that I worked with. Like we would do it together sometimes in our lunch break. We used to go to Whiting Ranch a lot because Soltech, where our Etnies base was right next to Whiting Ranch and a luge. So we would do those quite a bit. They were just up the street. I used to do Whiting Ranch every single day at my lunch break and stuff. So I got really introduced to it through my work, and I just kept doing it. Like I fell in love with it kind of. So I'm glad that I still have that love for it. You know, it hasn't gone anywhere over this many years, you know?
Yeah. Isn't that such a good feeling, man? That love for it. And you're right. Like skateboarding, there's the ollie. And then in mountain biking, you have the bunny hop, and it feels so similar. And then your brain start plugging into places like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
That was a stair drop on the skateboard. This is a drop on a mountain bike. I got this. I understand this. I understand
and
this.
Like, you know, like flow trails, it's interesting because coming from a skate perspective, flow trails, you pump through them. You pump through them on a skateboard too. You pump ramps, you pump mini ramps, and whatever it is, you still do the same thing with your arms and your body weight that you do to get speed on a skateboard. So that all that stuff kind of clicked for me. And I love flow trails because of that, because you can I love how you can not pedal and gain speed through turns and hoop-de-whoops and things like that, you know?
Yes, right?
It's addicting, that feeling.
Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. Johnny out of Miami saying, love it, love it. Right and Dirty saying, dude, the BMX industry is the same these days. Straight up Tony hot combos. No kidding. No kidding. Johnny's saying, Tony's such a great guy. I'm such a little YouTuber, but he shows so much respect and love to everyone. What a solid guy. I appreciate you, Tony.
What's up, Johnny? Thank you.
Yeah. So your channel, I mean, you've brought some people up with you that, you've helped out a lot of people, including us here at the podcast, the segment podcast and YouTube channel, with a lot of things. I mean, we always turn to you, Tony, and go, hey, what do you think about this deal? Is this a deal? Is this not a deal? Should I take it? Should I not take it?
You guys don't need me. You're doing great.
I'll always need you. But how did it feel to pretty much put all of your eggs in one basket with the channel and go, okay, we're doing it? And to see the numbers growing like it did and see the YouTube money coming in, did it feel like a struggle, or did it feel natural? Or did it just feel fun? How did that whole thing go?
At first, it's really fun and it's exciting. at first. And I'm not going to say, like, I want to go into this answer with, like, not saying that I don't feel gifted by being in this situation, or like I don't appreciate it. But a lot of people don't understand it. Like, I went full time with it in a time after or during COVID. I don't know if I would have done it if it was not COVID, because I got laid off from my job and I didn't have a lot of choices, and I had this excitement with the channel. So I was able in that period of time not to have stress over looking for a job, because I knew there wasn't one out there. So I just put all my eggs in the basket of like filling in my energy with the channel. And luckily I made it work. Luckily. I will say, like, month to month, and especially in the last couple of years, it's an up and down thing. It very much feels like a hustle. Like, it's not a big financial stability factor. Like, anyone that wants to do this full time, you're lucky if you're able to. But at the same time, just know before you dive in and you want to, stick your forks in the ground to do it. It's a struggle. It's your sponsors come and go, the views come and go. Even if you're putting in 100%, like in a normal job, a normal job, you'll put 100% in every week. You'll get that same paycheck every week. In YouTube, you could put 200% in and get 50% back. So you really have, you really have to, like, guide yourself in a factor where it's like, I'm going to accept the good with the bad. And then eventually it's just, who knows how long it lasts, because I know it's not forever. I know I gave myself a limited amount of time, a few years, to see if I can make it work. And I'm doing that, and I've done it. So I'm at the point now where I'm trying, to be honest with you, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. And, I'm looking for opportunities in the job market. I'm looking for opportunities in the YouTube market. I'm really feeling out, like, what's my next step. But, like, me saying that, it doesn't mean I'm ever going to give up the channel. It just means that, like, maybe I would like not to be stressed out with the channel as much, like, not have to depend on it as much and do what I want more so than having to, do what the routine might feel like I need to do. Try more things and not feel like, so ingrained into the thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, yeah, it's really an up and down thing, as such with any job, right? Like, you work anywhere for a little time, you start looking for new opportunities. Is this something I want to do? Is there a change coming up? I think it's just healthy to keep a good outlook on things like that and keep opportunities always in the back of your head,
I think that's a great thought. I think that when you have those thoughts and you feel like that excitement, those butterflies in your belly, you got to listen to them and go, ooh, maybe there's something I could take this to the next level with, or maybe there's something in combination with this channel that'll bring an opportunity like XYZ. Who knows?
Yeah. Or who knows, like, transition the channel. Like, I'm open to opportunities, transition the channel into a bike in the bike industry, or someone like something like that, like, who knows what's going to happen.
Man, I mean, who would have thought that Specialized was going to buy bike shops? And, like, maybe some companies are going to start buying YouTube channels. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, anything can happen in today's world. That's for sure. That is for sure. See, we got this one coming in from Teddy Parker. Says the action sports industry has been in flux since the huge gaming boom, but COVID really helped us reset everything. But at what cost? True. Good point. Good point. We got Riding Dirty says, haha, hell yeah. And I was just saying to my wife, we should move to Florida for a few months. They're having internal. Teddy Parker also topically hope to see all the homies Saturday at Fullerton. Bring the water and sunscreen. It's gonna be hot. Yeah, maybe right now we can just jump forward and plug that real fast. Tony, what's happening this Saturday?
This Saturday at 8 a.m., we're going to all meet at the Fullerton Loop at the courthouse of Fullerton with the Fullerton Fire Department, Police Department, Gravity Bicycles. Pasco's going to be there. I'm hosting the ride with MTV. Is it Attaboys? I never know. A.k.a. Boys. They're hosting the kids ride. There's going to be a bunch of tents there. It's going to be a great time with food and drink afterward. And it's just a great charity as well. We're going to bring donations. If you can, come and bring some donations for the Pathways of Hope. It's a kids charity. Stuff like, it doesn't always have to be toys. It could be like notebooks or pens or school supplies, anything like that. Last year, we did a really good job, filled 2 SUVs with stuff. This year, I think it's going to be even bigger. So if you can come to Fullerton this Saturday, 2 days from now, 8 a.m., we'll be there. We'll start the ride. I think it's going to be a great time. You guys are coming, right?
Yeah, we'll be
We'll be
there.
there.
Oh yeah, we'll be there. We'll be
Definitely.
there. It is so much fun, and it's so cool to see all the things that gets donated for the kids, especially from what I was told, the charity itself aims towards helping out the teenagers because a lot of times, like the younger kids in orphanages or foster homes, kids in need, they'll get cool stuff. But the teenagers are like, "Oh, damn, man, I really didn't want a Teddy Ruxpin. That doesn't do me very good." So when
Yeah.
they get stuff like last year, I saw like Van shoes, Etnies shoes, skateboards going out. I was like, "Oh yeah, that Christmas is gonna be good for somebody. That's gonna
Yep.
be so dope." So it
Yeah, it's
does feel
a
good.
great cause.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be awesome. And to see the fire department and to see you up there with all the lights flashing and everything, I'm like, it's like a concert. There's Tony DaSilva up there. It's gonna be good. So yeah, thank you, Teddy Parker, for that. That's a great time to plug that. And I think it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful day. Um, Going back into your story, Tony, when we talk about kind of where you are with the channel and everything, something big that you've done, like a lot of us get sponsors and super grateful for the sponsors, paying sponsors, speaking of, I'm going to crack one of these real quick because it's kind of warm.
Nice.
Little freshie right there, Mother Earth Brew Company. Go check them
Nice.
out. Sponsor for the show, deliciousness. You went above and beyond and went out and got yourself a car company. I mean, what the heck? How does this happen? I'm like,
I don't know.
I got gloves and tires, baby. You come rolling up in a car. Honk, honk. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, I don't, like it's one of those things when you have a channel or you're just meeting people throughout. I came in touch with this guy named Mark Devis. He owned a company called Drive Shop. He was a fan of the channel, and he has a company that works with all these car brands that usually give like celebrities and influencers cars for certain periods of time to review and things like that. So I talked to him, and he offered to get me involved, and I was just like, sure, why not? So I filled out the form, and then he kind of showed my videos and stuff like that to certain companies, brands and companies, because the PR people have to approve like who they're getting cars to. And I was lucky enough to where a couple of them said yes, so I started working with them for like a year or two. One of the main brands I was working with was Mazda. So after about a year of working with them, I kind of reached out to the contact at Mazda, and I was like, hey, like, how about this idea? Like, instead of giving me a vehicle every month and a half or 2 months and having to approve it, why don't we like go long term? Let's like do a long contract, let's like commit. And it went through the marketing team and lawyers and all that stuff, and it got approved. But like one person at the end, like put it down. Like whoever was in the marketing department wasn't ready. Yeah, so they put the kibosh on it. I don't know if I need to be telling this part, but this is just how this is just how it goes. With sponsor deals and things like that. There's ups and downs. So I didn't think anything of it. And then like 4 months later, the same guy in the PR department, Jake, hit me up, and he's just like, you know what? Like, we just had a big meeting, and we want to do what you suggested. We want to do long-term loaners, and your name came up first because you hit us up and we love what you're doing, and you've been approved. So he's like, I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, go to the website and build a car. I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, go build your perfect, what you want. And so there it is. Like, I built like the SUV they have, the mid-sized SUV is a CX-50 they just came out with. It's perfect for traveling. It's good for around town. And I picked it out with all the bells and whistles, and that's what I'm driving right now. Still. Damn, so baby, it was amazing, and it's still amazing. I sold my Tacoma. I'm using this full time, and if all goes well, hopefully next year I'll have another one.
Wow, Tony. Wow. Okay, so how does a big car brand like that, what's their ROI? How do they track this? Or is this just like they look at you doing the trips and they're like, oh, good enough for us. This is great. Is there a lot of deliverables on your side?
The cool thing about Mazda, because I wanted to know all those things at the beginning. I want to know, like, what do you need from me? What do you want? I wanted to make sure that it's reasonable enough where I'm not going to like be a salesman. I don't want to be like, like throwing it like, hey, you look at this deal. Like, I don't want. I'm not like that, and my channel's not like that. They're like really cool. They were like, just like use it how you would use it on a trip. Like just live in it, go and ride in it, and talk about like what it does for you and what you're using. So I was like, all right, cool. So like that's all I've done. Like I haven't had to do any like serious deliverables where like you need this many photos per month or this or that. Like I'll do intros and talk about it in inside. I'll do intros in the cabin of the vehicle, which I would do anyway.
Yeah,
I'll show what I'll show on a trip, like where it brought me, and I'll show a picture of it or show some video of it. It's really nothing like too salesy. Like it's just kind of blending in, and that's really nice for me because I don't want to like fake it. I don't want to sales pitch stuff. You know, same thing with YT and the bikes. Like I don't want to overdo it. It's what I choose, and I'm really happy to be working with these brands, but like I don't, I'm not like a salesman over here. I just want to ride with something that agrees with me and that I would recommend, and that's it. It's tough, and it's tough having a channel because, well, it's not tough. It's tough sometimes when your channel gets big enough to like recognize that you don't want to change who you are and who your channel is and how you represent yourself, because you get offers and you get things like that come up, and they, when you get big enough. Not that I have a big channel, but it's big enough in California where I get a lot of offers and I get a lot of people that want to work with me. And it's like, you have to be picky and choosy and not just say yes to everything, because then what are you? Just this saturated YouTube channel that just says yes to everything and people don't trust you. Your reputation my reputation means something to me. My credibility means something to me. It's earned. And I appreciate the people that respect that. Yeah.
Credibility is big time currency. For sure. Mountain Bike Q&A is saying not overly commercial, which is great. And I was just talking to a friend about this. Being genuine, like if you're not forcing the features and benefits, you're just being genuine about it. That's why people write scripts and hire actors, so that they can try to get that genuineness like made. But if you can just be genuine off the cuff, and it's like it sells itself. You're just being you, and nobody could beat that better than you. So
I think that's the channels. Those are the channels that I used to gravitate towards before I even started the channel. Like the ones that were vulnerable, the ones that were obviously themselves, that weren't trying to put on this like, hey, like, like it was just like people that were being themselves, and you really like feel like part of that channel, So I've really done my best with over the years is trying to keep myself as the truest self I can be without taking the brands and overdoing it,
Yeah. And I think what makes that successful for you and for people subscribing to you is you're so relatable. It's like,
thank you.
Tony could be my friend. Like, it's not like, check me out in my Mazda, let me go like get all these cool shots on it, like, oh man, I'll never be that dude. That dude's,
Yeah.
But you're very approachable and genuine. So I think that helps a ton.
Thanks, man.
We got this one. Trump him saying Mazda is like the YT of cars, great value and quality for the money. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I agree.
We got Teddy Parker. Great. Teddy Parker is saying, question for fun. Tony has done some great travel episodes, but I wonder where would he want to ride anywhere in the world, strictly for riding, not for the food or whatever, but just to ride. Where would that be?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I had the luxury of going to Vancouver, Squamish, and Whistler a few years back. And if there's a place that I would like to visit again, I don't think it's impossible at all. I think it's possible. It's Squamish. They have the most beautiful forests, so much foliage, so much greenery, so many amazing trails, so much mountain bike advocacy. I could not believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And you're only 30 minutes south of Whistler. So it's just so like there's so much forest there that I felt like the oxygen was better. Like I was like holy shit, like this is like a different place, like altogether. Like everything was always like the dirt was always moist. Like it just felt like. So I'm gonna say this, like I think just because I've been there, but I knew it was an amazing place beforehand. But Squamish, I would love to go back to
and really explore it. Yeah. Get like Remy or Brett Tippy to take you out and tow you around some of those trails. Good Lord, that would be.
There's some scary stuff there. I don't, I don't know if I would do all that, but like, there's also some great black diamond blue stuff too. That's super flowy and fun.
Yeah, not necessarily on the side of a ridge cliff doing a nose manual. to a drop. No, but yeah, God, Joey, have you been to Squamish or have you been through there before?
No, I haven't. I would love to go. It's on the bucket list. Maybe we'll have to go with Tony.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Let's go.
even their little town, how they have that cliff that just shoots up out of the town and looks over the water. You're like, this place is nuts.
Yeah, the whole town overlooks that whole cliff, that whole sidewall, you know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful.
There's so many rock climbers that come from the area because of that. There's such good rock climbing there too. I'm not a rock climber, but I know for sure, like watching documentaries and stuff, they all learn, a lot of them learn there.
Yeah, I can imagine. That cliff face is amazing. But that's cool, man. Mazda. Shout out to Mazda. And I also noticed that they were sponsoring the Over the Hump series. They'd always have Mazda parking. If you haven't Mazda, you would park for free. If you didn't have a Mazda.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, they do the quick and dirty races also.
Yeah, so they're in the community, which is cool. I tried pulling the Tesla up. I'm like, it's a M, but there's a T on the front. They're like, oh, $5. Pay up, sir. So that kind of goes along with the trip that I was talking about. One of the things that you do on your channel, which is hilarious with your intros, you always talk about food.
Yeah.
You always come up with these, like, yeah.
I grew up with food. I mean, my mom was my mom was from Italy. She came over. She was born there and came over there when she was a kid. So I grew up in an Italian house where she's always cooking. The kitchen always smells amazing. I grew up with meatballs and pasta. So the spicy meatballs were part of my life. So I brought that into the channel a little bit, you know. I don't know why. I think one day I was like looking forward to lunch and I was talking about the spicy meatball. And then it became like a thing where I was looking forward to it because I love meatball sandwiches.
I mean, if you guys tune into his channel, it's literally the beginning. Have I got a spicy meatball of a video for you today?
Yeah, it's always an Italian food. It's got to be an Italian food. Have I got a chicken parm of the vid for you today? Yeah.
Yes. So good. Those are so good. And then when you talk about when you're doing your lives, you had like a meatball. Whenever somebody would donate to your channel, like this meatball would come up.
Yeah. My wife helped me figure that one out. That was a good one.
The captain's cock says that's a spicy meatball. Oh man. So Tony, earlier in the year, kind of jump around a little bit, but earlier in the year, you look great now, but you had a health scare, and we saw the channel go on pause for a little bit. What happened, and what did you do to go from where you were to where you are now? Because you look great.
Thank you. I mean, this is a tough question. This is one of those questions that you're asking me as a YouTuber, and my first instinct is to just gloss over it and give you the most simple answer, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to be honest with you and be a little bit more vulnerable with that question and just tell you what happened. Like, I was pretty freaked out for a couple of months. I had more anxiety than I ever had in my life. I went into a little bit of a depression for a couple of months because I was so freaked out. I'll start from the beginning. So there was just a rainy day here. I think it was in March. I was in my house. I was sitting on the couch and I was drinking some coffee, and then my heart started racing so fast that I didn't know what to do. Like, I felt like I didn't think it was a heart attack, but I didn't know what it was. So I panicked a little bit and I stood up and I walked over to the door just to like get up out of my seat and just figure what was going out. And the next thing I knew, I was on the floor, waking up with my dog staring at me. I didn't know what happened. Oh. So it took me like 30 seconds to kind of like figure out, like, why am I on the floor? What just happened? I realized that I passed out. And then I remember having that heart thing happen, and it freaked me out. I'm like, what the hell is going on with me? You know, like, what do I do? I'm really kind of scared. Called my wife, and she's just like kind of freaked out too. Ended up, you know, I went to urgent care. They sent me to the emergency room because they were like, this is pretty serious. We don't know what happened to you. And I'm thinking I had a heart attack. I'm having the worst panic attack, anxiety I've ever had. Like, I'm a pretty healthy guy. I've never had anything like this happen to me before. So I don't know what's going on. And that feeling is something interesting and was new for me because I've always been pretty confident about my health. I've always been in control of my life. This is the first time I ever felt out of control where my body is in charge and I'm not. Like, there's some things in life you don't have control over. They're just going to happen to you, and you have to figure out how you're going to deal with it. And this was one of those times in my life that I just didn't see coming and didn't have any way to prepare for it. And I'm just thrown into it. I know people have had like worse things happen. I know, but like, this is something that for me was a big deal because I'd never dealt with anything like that before. Everything's relative to your own life, right? So
100%.
I'm in the emergency room. You know, they don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting all these things stuck to me. They take it very serious when you pass out and there's like a heart thing happening, you know, and it's very scary because they don't tell you what's wrong. They're trying to figure it out, and it's kind of scary feeling like they're not even sure. You know, if they don't know what the fuck, like what is going on.
Who knows?
They kept me overnight. They took my blood every 3 hours. I have a needle phobia. That was fun. Anyway, like, so they do all these tests, ultrasounds on your neck, on everywhere. They want to make sure that your heart is functioning. Am I going into too much detail?
No, you're painting a scary picture. Yeah. I mean, people have been here before, so please, keep going.
All right. So I woke up the next day and they kept me there for like another 12 hours just to make sure, and until I was cleared, because they want to make sure my ultrasounds and all those things were okay. It turns out my heart was okay. Good news. The cardiologist came in and he suggested that I go on a heart monitor. So for 2 weeks, I wore this like plastic thing on my chest, like tape there, and it monitors your heart for 2 weeks. About a week into it, I thought I had a panic attack. My heart started racing again. I had a lot of anxiety from this experience and wearing that heart monitor. So I just was like, I was just chalking it up as like, this is just part of me having anxiety. It turns out when they got the results back and I took it off and sent it in, that was another heart flutter. It was similar to the one I had when I passed out. So when I went to the cardiologist, I found out that I have a arrhythmia called SVT.
SVT.
Which, Mark, you're kind of
tachycardia.
Yeah, you're in the industry, right? So you're kind of familiar with what that is. It's not AFib like a lot, like where it skips a beat. It's just something that randomly flutters fast. So they gave me a medication, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Mark, but like the cardiologist was kind of an asshole. He literally was just like nothing. He's like, the medication isn't going to work. You should just do this procedure called an ablation. You're going to see this guy. And you're gonna do this. He didn't even tell me like what was wrong with me. He was just sending me to another doctor to get this like medical operation. And I was like, what do you like? What? Like, I feel like I was in a car mechanic when you take your car in and it needs to do brakes. And just like, oh yeah, you're going to need this. You're going to need this. You're going to need this. Like, dude, you're being a dick. Like, I'm worried. Like, what he's like, you let me worry for you. You're just going to do this. I was just like, dude, it changed me. Like I thought I had anxiety before that. I had so much anxiety after that because this guy was such a jerk about it, you know? So he sent me away with me not knowing what was going on. I just know how to get this weird medical procedure. I have a heart problem, all this stuff. It turns out I found out only this like a few weeks ago. I went to go to my primary physician. He didn't like the cardiologist. He's an asshole. He told me he was an asshole. and he was just like one of those cardiologists. I don't know if a lot of you guys notice, sometimes people think cardiologists aren't very good. Like they just want money and they're like mechanics. I mean, there's 50-50 on it. Like, so I had one of those guys. Like you have a primary physician that's kind of on your side and it's good bedside manner. He's there for you. These guys don't give a shit. Like they're just like, you don't need this, you don't need that. But like it screwed me up for like 2 to 3 months. Like I went to a deep depression, anxiety thing. I don't know if it was depression or anxiety, but it was like this part of my life where like I felt like I was out of control completely. It was the first time I was ever like, I didn't know if I had a heart attack. I don't know if I had a bad heart. I didn't know if I was going to die soon. I started like thinking about my mortality, getting older, all that stuff like rushed in. I don't mean to get like so deep on the live stream, but like,
it's fine.
As a 40-something-year-old man, like you start coming to terms with things that I started coming to terms with things and thinking about things I'd never thought about before because of this incident. So it like brought on a little bit of an extra sauce to it. You know, space meatball sauce. I never felt before. I'm doing much better right now, but I needed to take a pause from the channel, a couple months off, and just get my shit together for a minute and like just take a pause and like feel better and like get back to who I am. And I'm there right now, but man, it was a journey.
God, what a journey. How scary would that have been for anybody? Now, with the SVT, did they say like, was that through stress or was that because just something that your body was going through? What are the primary cares?
They don't really know. I mean, like, so these things can happen when you're older. They can come about. I am on some like, I have a high blood pressure since I was a kid through genetics, and I'm on like medication for that. They think that maybe like I was taking off one of the pills because I was doing better. They think that maybe that beta blocker was helping me with that. And then maybe like I wasn't on it and then it came back. Like maybe it was always hiding it. There's a lot of things, but like I know as you get older, these things come more prevalent in your life. Maybe it was a small thing and it got a little bit bigger. Who knows? But like right now, I've been on the medication and it hasn't happened since April, since I had the heart monitor. So the medication's helping. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling much more confident and comfortable with my health. I've been drinking less, eating less, taking care of my body, quit coffee, because coffee is one of those things that would give me anxiety and make my heart race a little bit. So I'm just trying to be precautionary and just do the best I can, but like that's suffice to say, like I'm still like having beers and living my life and enjoying myself. I'm just taking more caution than I used to. Just I had kind of a bad lifestyle going, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So now you're just like, taking precaution, being a little more conscious about what you're putting into your body, how you're treating your body. Speaking of treating your body, did the doctor say anything about how mountain biking was good for your heart? Did it put you in a good position to be able to take this on? Did they say any of that?
Not a damn thing. The cardiologist didn't care at all. He was such a jerk.
You let him make a Christmas tree, kid.
With the cardiologist, but like, like as far as exercise go, my primary, it's great. Like get exercise, go out there, be active. Like all that stuff you need to have. You need to have exercise in your life. I'm not a good person that enjoys going to the gym. I get very bored. So having mountain biking in my life is very helpful because it forces me. It doesn't force me, that I appreciate and like the experience. So the exercise comes as a bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're out there having fun and you're like, I am getting exercise too. And
part of that is the exercise,
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes a cold brewski after never hurt anybody. after the ride, those are always kind of a fun little social get together. Damn, Tone. That's crazy. So you're back. You're feeling good. You're going to be back to the channel again, cutting more videos, kind of looking for a new way to possibly rebirth it in a different way. Who knows what that's going to be, but that's exciting for sure.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Go ahead, Tone.
No, I don't know what it's going to look like. It could be just the same. It's just going to be week to week, whatever I want to do. So that's kind of how the channel started. And that's what I'm going to do now. I don't really care about the algorithm. I don't care about views, likes. I think there's some people that care too much about that and it changes the channel and it makes it feel more like overly edited and overly trying to be professional. Yeah. You guys know who those guys or that guy is, but like I want to keep it fresh.
Yes, say no more. I do. That's funny. It's funny how I was able to catch that. So talking about bikes, what bike did you start off on and what bike are you riding today?
I started on a Giant Rain back in Connecticut when the 26s were around. I moved into an N10 Spider when I moved to California. That was my first real purchase. And then I had a Trek Remedy, which was really fun, kind of a trail enduro bike. And then from then I got, the channel got sponsored by YT. So I've had a Jeff C, a Capra, and now a YT Decoy in my arsenal for a few years now. I love YT. I love what they represent. I love the brand. And I've been loving the bikes. I had a YT Jeff C that I bought before the channel even got sponsored by YT. So I reached out to Jeff Taylor first, the vice president or the president of YT US, and pitched him, made him a whole PowerPoint, him and another person in marketing there. And I just talked about what I could do for the channel, from the channel to them. And they picked me up. I was super excited.
That's so cool, Tony. And you literally helped pave the way for those of us who came on board after as ambassadors. It made it so much easier because you had to go in that hard room and pitch with slideshows and everything.
Well, it was during COVID, so I did it over Zoom, which is even weirder because you don't get that personal connection. I just had two screens.
Yeah,
but it went really well.
Yeah.
My marketing background helped me a little bit with like being comfortable in that situation,
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's cool. Yeah, that's so cool. When it comes to the YT bikes, what's your go-to right now? What do you like to get on for like your daily driver?
I've been loving the Decoy, man. I really do love the YT Decoy. Like people can love or hate e-bikes, but it's so fun. Like I don't feel like if I don't want to feel like I'm gonna want to torture myself and pedal up a hill forever and put myself through that, I'm just like, let's do the decoy and just have fun on the downhills. It's like accepting that you're gonna get a lift at your local trails. You know, it turns them into a bike park.
It totally does.
It's
It's
so
lift
fun.
service that you can steer. That's what I think it feels like. Lift service that you can steer, and then
Yeah.
you're just downhill all day, all day,
Yeah.
all day.
I'm really having fun on the decoy.
I still remember that first ride on the decoy where we kind of rode around San Clemente on it, and you were like, yeah, you know, it's cool and everything. And then Zava was like, hey, we got to be back in 20 minutes. Let's hit this, and that. And we did it in like 15 minutes. And you're like, oh, that's a game changer.
I couldn't believe it. Joe, that's true. You were on that first ride. It was Zavo, Cab, all you guys. And you guys got me on that decoy. And I was kind of hooked after that. I was nervous about riding it because I knew I'd like it. And then that's what happened.
You're like, you guys suckered me.
Man.
I was coming here to ride a Capra.
Because San Clemente, those climbs are no joke. And we were like, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You did in 20 minutes.
Feeling that for your first time, like I remember feeling like I had to slow down going uphill because I was going on switchbacks. I was like, this is insane. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like people who love riding park, who like riding lifts and just getting the downhill, when they get to have fun, cool, like e-bike to be able to take to their local trails, I feel like that's going to resonate. They're going to be like, I can get like 15 laps in the same amount of time.
Yeah,
so sick.
Yeah. And they're only going to get lighter. You know, like technology is going to get better and better and better. So 5 years from now, they're going to be like 30 pounds. It's going to be amazing.
God, I can't wait. That new SN's looking good. That just came out too. I put my little LTL in for that. So let's see what that looks like when it comes in September, October, whenever that gets in. Oh, Tony, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Dude, I can't believe an hour just flew by like that. Couple quick questions when we go into these are kind of off questions. MTV Sheen Queen had one for you from before the show, before we were all backstage. She wanted to know superhero cartoons. Are you more of a Darth Vader guy or a Skeletor guy? Who would be your villain of choice?
Villain specifically?
Villain specifically. Has to be cartoon characters.
Huh. I would say Gargamel from the Smurfs.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. I did not see that coming.
Remember him? I mean, you have to be our age to get that one, but like, yeah. I loved the Smurfs when I was a kid. Gargamel is the worst.
Gargamel is the worst. He had a thing for Mrs. Smurf, was the only female. Yeah. What the heck?
Mrs. Smurf was sexy.
Gargamel. What about you, Joey? Who would be yours?
Oh gosh, I didn't see this coming. Give me a minute. Come back to me. I gotta come up with a good one.
Mine was she's saying Mark's is making things up. Yeah, I knew it was Skeletor. I just forgot who the other one was. Okay, so true story. When I was a kid, for the folks out there listening, does anybody remember Peter and the Wolf? No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Peter and the Wolf was basically to me it was scary, but it was a cartoon that was with orchestra music. So they didn't really talk; they were just all parts of music. And the wolf just scared the shit out of me for whatever reason. The wolf
stuff stays with you when you're a kid; it just never goes away. You know?
Yeah. The wolf comes around this corner and then like growls right into the screen and like couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it'll get you.
It'll get me. That's my villain. Joey, I was stalling for you. What?
I watched a lot of Looney Tunes and like
don't say Elmer Fudd.
Yeah, no, Elmer Fudd definitely wasn't scary at all. So I'm trying to come up with like
Tom Wild E. Coyote.
None of those guys are scary. Those are just hilarious. So.
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian's not scary. That was a scary guy. I mean, easily Darth Vader is scary, but that's not a cartoon. So Gargamel is so good. That's so gold right there.
You've also got Megatron from the
Megatron. Yeah. They really beefed him up in the movies. He was scary.
Yeah.
He was scary. What about like so evil? Why is he such a dick? Now, when it comes to like scary movies, now, who was your character that you were like, dude, not messing with that dude? Was like Freddy Krueger? It was Freddy
David
Krueger.
Yeah, it was.
Is
I
it because
hated
at the
that guy.
beginning? Is it the beginning? It's like these could be like off of true events, you know? I
No,
hate when
I
they
think
put
it
that.
was more about like going to sleep. Like I was
Yes.
worried about sleeping, that he was going to come in. Like when I was the most calm before I go to sleep, I was scared, because I'm
Yeah.
like, Freddy's coming,
Right.
before you know anything. And then I was just way too young when I was exposed to those. So they felt real. When you're really young, they feel real. Like that stuff's
Yes.
really happening. You don't really
Yes.
get special effects yet. Now it
Yeah.
looks so stupid. Like the way
Right.
Toxic Avenger looks, like so
Yeah.
bad. But like,
You're like,
yeah,
I
it
can
was
see the
scary.
cameraman in the reflection of the glass.
Yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
scary.
Or how plastic the thing is,
Exactly. Exactly. Back from the past when we used to ask these questions, Tony, we had some rapid fire ones, but now, hey, is cereal or is it a soup?
Cereal, if is it what?
Is cereal a soup? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Nope.
Cereal. It's not a soup.
Mhm.
It's like liquid with stuff in it. Not a
I
soup.
mean, it's always going to be milk unless you're a weirdo. It's milk and cereal. It's its own thing. Soup can be anything. Soup can be a mixture of anything in the world, but cereal is always the same. It's milk
Right.
and cereal. Yeah. It's just two
True.
ingredients.
It's true. If you change the milk into anything else, then it definitely constitutes as a soup.
Yeah, it's a recipe. There's no recipe to cereal. There's a recipe to soup.
Right. Yeah. M2 sequence. Yeah. Soup is hot.
Yeah.
And cereal is
Or
cold.
unless it's a gazpacho.
A gazpacho?
It's like cold Italian soup.
Oh, what about I guess oatmeal would be hot. So that's its own thing too.
Yeah. I mean, that can almost be like a hot cereal, which I would say.
Yeah.
2 ingredients, similar things. It's just hot cereal. Because I make my oatmeal with milk. So it's just heated up cereal.
Oh, damn. See how many ways we could bend this? This is very cool. This is very cool. Aliens, real or not?
Real. Why do we think we're the only ones in the whole universe? Why are we so conceited that we think we are the only ones that have existed? I mean, I look at it like that. Like, I don't think I know of any aliens. I haven't seen any, but I don't think that doesn't mean I don't think they're out there. I don't think that we've gotten to the place where we can explore that far. Maybe they've gotten to the point where they can explore this far, but we don't have the other way around. So I'm pretty open to that. Like, I'm not a narcissistic human. I think that it's possible that we aren't the only planet in the whole universe, which is infinite, that there's something out there.
I love that. I agree with you too. Like, we don't even know where the edges of the universe are, but we're already claiming like we are the only ones.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Maybe in our galaxy, we're the only ones we found. But like, think about how many millions of galaxies there are.
Seriously, right? Yeah, that blows my mind when I think about that stuff. Dang, that thinks about all the different trails that we have to ride, all the different types of bikes we have to ride. This just blows my mind. Tony, on that note, we'll go ahead and end the show. But gosh, you thought-provoking, crazy story on how this whole thing started for you, and I love that you're still there, and I love that you're pushing the boundaries. I mean, how many people do you know, Joey, that has a car sponsor for their channel? That's freaking dope.
I hope it lasts because I really love it. So we'll see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is really awesome.
It's not having a car payment. I'll tell you that.
Exactly.
And it even came with one of those little toll road stickers, so I can like.
Oh, you can go on the fast track.
Yeah, fast track.
Yeah, I'll pay for it.
That little perk. Yeah.
Can you just rack up parking tickets too?
Yeah. Well, I just tried that.
Teddy Parker on the close is getting this one in real quick. He says, "Real talk. How sick is the free riding in the next galaxy over?" Right? Could you imagine like the terrain on other places? Yeah, I definitely don't want to think that we're the only ones. There's many places we get to ride, hopefully.
I agree.
Oh man, so fun. We get in the great episode. See you all Saturday. See you guys on Saturday. Fullerton Loop, 8 a.m. Meet at the courthouse. Bring something. It doesn't have to be a big item. It could be a small item. It could be deodorant. It could be toothpaste. It could be anything.
Yeah, and maybe you have some stuff in your house. Like, just throw it in a bag and bring it.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Tony, for the folks that are listening on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere they download podcasts, where can they catch your channel? Where are you located?
I'm in Fullerton, California, Orange County, California. My channel is The Outsider MTB on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook. And I have a Patreon as well if you want to support the channel even further. It's $2 a month, I think now. We'd love to have you. I'm doing monthly group rides and early video releases. So hopefully I'll see you.
Yeah, and giveaways. You got giveaways too on your channel.
Product
$2
giveaways.
a month. Wow, $2 a month. And I've been on these rides, guys and girls. It is so fun. If you are in the local area, if you're traveling out this way, $2, you can get in and see what Tony's up to, see where the next group ride is. It's always so fun. You have a good group that shows up every time.
We've all become great friends. It's such a good community. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
we've done awesome. We went to Downeyville the last 2 years too, and had a great group. We have great times. We've all become so close. So I recommend and would love to invite you in.
Love it. Go on to Patreon, look for Tony the Outsider, and sign up. That's like less than $1, less than a cup of coffee, and for good times that last longer than a cup of coffee. Thank you all again for showing up, you guys. Episode 158, Tony DaSilva, the Outsider, and we'll see you all on the next episode. We'll see you all on the top.
I'm about to drop the hammer, honey.
We're out.
Wow.
See ya.